What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about the top 5 short squeeze stocks that you need to add to your watch list going into this upcoming week. So I want to go over all the things you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So for those of you that are new to the channel, I like to choose stocks that have some good pre-existing momentum and plus shorts being overextended. Given the current kind of scenario that we are in on a macro standpoint and how the market was last week, it was rather difficult to choose 5 stocks, but I did find 5 stocks that are largely flying under the radar that should do very, very well. Getting right to stock number 5, although not in any particular order. Ticker is SEAT, so Vivid Seats, sitting at 729. So on Friday, when everything was going haywire, this did close 0.41% in the green. Over the last 1 year, definitely not doing great by any means. It's down 91.4%, but over the last 5 days, it is up 13.6%. And then similarly, over the last 1 month, up 13.02%. So it is starting to build up some momentum. This is what they do. On a side note, so movies and entertainment based out of good old Chicago. Right now, 22.75% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 821,000 shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 7.24%. That is an annual rate, not a daily rate. DTC being at 6.34 days does signal that shorts are very overextended. So DTC does factor in the average volume in comparison to number of shares being shorted. Short score, higher the number, the higher likelihood of a squeeze happening, is sitting at 77.41, and then through IBKR does indicate 30,000 shares is available to be shorted. And the reason why I bring that up is in some cases you could be seeing some buying coming from big money just for the purposes of lending out stock. So definitely this one needs to be added to your watch list, and based on the volume and just everything, it's not being followed by large amounts of individuals, so it is largely flying under the radar. So again, add this one to your watch list. Moving on to the next one, ticker is AVT, so sitting at 62.39. Over the last 1 year, it is up 21.36%. Over the last 5 days alone, up 23.13. Fairly good market cap, so a lot of good information here. On a side note, so it did hit a new 52-week high on Friday. So when everything again was kind of going haywire, this stock definitely did do fairly well. Based on the quantitative data, I know I generally don't bring that up in these types of videos, but it does show valuation as A. So despite everything, it actually is still fairly priced, but nonetheless, this is what they do. So technology distributors, about 15,000 employees based out of Phoenix. 10.94% of the free floats being shorted. Works to be 8.8 million shares overall being shorted. So even though this one again kind of flies under the radar, there is some sketchiness happening because you have shares on loan 6.39 million, number of shares being shorted 8.8. So there is more shares being shorted than on loan. So technically a little bit more of a naked shorting type of scenario is playing out. DTC 9.86 days, very overextended, and then through IBKR it does indicate 1.6 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow average is kind of on the low end, so you might not be seeing any buying going into this upcoming week, but definitely some sketchiness is happening behind the scenes with the whole naked shorting whatever else. So definitely add this one to your watch list. Moving on to the next one, ticker is SGMO, sitting at 54 cents. Over the last 1 year, it is down 56.46, so not the greatest, but over the last 5 days, it is up 36.27%. So showing some signs of life right there. This is what they do. So it is a biotech, 183 employees, founded in 95, based out of good old Richmond. 7.79% of the free float is being shorted. Works to be 25 million shares overall being shorted. Cost to borrow, very low, 0.34%. DTC, 3.91 days. So again, shorts are relatively overextended. And even looking at what shorts have been doing, back in April of 2025, short interest was around 13%. They kind of returned, but they've been holding on since August. So despite the price action and everything else, they have been kind of trying their best to really suppress it. Aside from that, through IBKR does indicate roughly around 7.5 million shares overall being shorted. So most likely you won't be seeing any buying going into this upcoming week, but nonetheless, the stock does have some pretty good momentum behind it and could easily put shorts in a little bit more of a bind. Moving on from here, ticker is CACC, so Credit Acceptance Corp, sitting at $498 and change. Did go up 10% on Friday, so that was pretty epic. Over the last 1 year, down 3.08. But over the last 5 days, it is up 11%. So definitely doing fairly well. As far as what they do, consumer finance, about 2,400 employees, founded in 1972, based out of Southfield, MI. Aside from that, 25.9% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 1.4 million shares overall are being shorted. DTC still does signal that shorts are overextended. Right now, we are actually sitting at all-time high short interest numbers as well. So DTC being at 10.74 days, very overextended. Shorts being at all-time highs, very interesting. So short score 80.86. So again, higher the number, the higher likelihood of a squeeze happening. And this one's an interesting one because there's only 1,000 shares available to be shorted, but cost to borrow is kind of low. So you most likely will be seeing a certain level of buying, but not a significant amount because a lot of the big names such as BlackRock, Vanguard, and so forth, they like kind of more juicier cost to borrow. It's not 0.46%. So again, nonetheless, definitely has a lot of good pre-existing momentum, and this one should be added to your watch list. And then last but not least, you have this one right here. Ticker is BKD, Brookdale Senior Living. So sounds very exciting. Sitting exactly at $15. Similar to, I think it was AVT. This is and did hit a new 52-week high on Friday. Over the last 1 year, up 215%. Over the last 5 days, up 15.56. This is what they do right down here. So healthcare facilities, 30,000 employees based out of Brentwood. Right now, 8.13% of the free float is being shorted, works to be 19.05 million shares overall being shorted. DTC 5.1 days does signal that shorts are overextended, and plus shares on loan being only 1.8 million, definitely another naked shorting type of scenario. So for those of you again that kind of follow my channel, I don't like to choose just stocks that are excessively shorted, like 60+%. I'd rather pay attention to DTC more than the short interest. So even though it's only 8% short interest, and many of the other ones I did bring up are roughly around that range, so 8 to 25 for instance, still these have a stronger likelihood of moving higher than a stock that's at 60%, in my own opinion. So you guys do your own due diligence. Let me know kind of your viewpoint on these. Is there any other stocks that you feel could have a squeeze? If so, throw some tickers in the description below. Hopefully everyone's having a amazing weekend this far. Then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.